Friday night football from Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego in the Mountain West. San Jose State at 2-5 visits San Diego State, a record of 5-1 as the Aztecs take the field on their home turf. Glad to have you with us here on a beautiful evening in Southern California. Mike Cousins with former Colorado and Boise State head coach Dan Hawkins. And it's time we introduce you to a player you may not know about. He's a Heisman contender, Donnell Pumphrey, the senior running back from Las Vegas. Last week put on yet another show, Hawk, a career-high 38 carries against Fresno State for 220 yards.
He's one of the great players in the country. If you don't know about him, you should. He leads the nation in yards per game. He comes in at 5'9", 180. This guy has all the skills necessary to move the chains. A truly exciting player.
A small guy stature-wise, but the numbers speak for themselves. The 8th leading rusher in the history of college football. Last week, surpassing LaDainian Tomlinson and 3 combined Heisman trophies between Herschel Walker and Archie Griffin. And he can move higher on the list tonight, perhaps as high as number 5. What makes this guy at 5'9", $180 so good?
Well, he's got tremendous vision, as you're going to see right here. He can take it outside, he can take it inside, he can run you over, put his foot in the ground, and then accelerate on a dime.
Donnell Pumphrey, the nation's only 1,000-yard rusher at this point. He's done it against Cal. He's torn up Mountain West competition, and it's not only lateral quickness, it's north and south.
You see him put his pads down here, and the most ironic thing, Mike, is just how much power he has at 5'9", 180. He can get behind his pads and push the pile. He's just not a speed guy. You're going to see the vision and cutback ability right here, outrunning 2 UNLV defenders, putting his foot in the ground and getting vertical again.
And the numbers line up pretty good for Pumphrey tonight against San Jose State, a defense that's 113th in the country out of 128 teams in terms of rushing defense. The leading rusher in the nation overall and yards per game. He's already put together 3 200-yard games and averages better than 200 all-purpose yards a game. He does it all both in the backfield and as the leading receiver for the Aztecs. If he goes over 200 tonight, a little bit better than that, he could become the 5th leading rusher in the history of college football tonight. Kickoff, San Diego State, San Jose State is next. It's a red-hot San Diego State team on a relatively comfortable evening here tonight in San Diego. No clouds in the sky, although the sun has set 69 degrees and hardly a breeze to speak of as well. Head coaches in this one, you've got some experience between these two. Ron Carragher in year number 4 at San Jose State, 17-27, and is yet to beat the Aztecs in his first 3 tries, winner of the Cure Bowl last year. And Rocky Long in year 6 as the head coach, the all-time winningest head coach in the history of the Mountain West. 48-24, and a win tonight to go to 6-1 would mean bowl eligibility once again for the Aztecs. The opening kick will go to San Jose State. They won the toss. John Barron puts it in the air for San Diego State. The opening kickoff is taken inside the 20-yard line by San Jose State. 2-5, a record of 1-2 in Mountain West play. They're coming off of a win last week against Nevada, 14-10, one they really needed. And they'll look for even better play after a sharp game last week from their senior quarterback, Kenny Potter.
He needs to get off to a good start, and they've got to be able to protect him. His ankle's a little bit better. He's going to move around. He's going to need it. You want to see a dynamic, aggressive defense. Watch this Rocky Long 3-3-5. They're going to blitz. They're going to stunt. They're going to bring people from everywhere. Quarterback's got to see it and get it off on time.
Motion on first down, and a handoff to the running back, Zamor Ziegler. the redshirt freshman from California, who makes his return after missing the last 2 games with an ankle sprain. And it's nice to have him back for Al Borges and the Spartans offense.
He's the fastest back they have, and they were excited to get him back. I saw him down in pregame warmups. He can move. Al Borges, offensive coordinator for the Spartans, been at this for a long time. You're going to see a lot of formations, a lot of looks on offense by the Spartans.
Back-to-back runs to open things up. It's Ziegler once again, stopped by the linebacker Calvin Munson. And Hawk, it's probably going to be important for them to change their formations, given that their 33 sacks allowed are the most among FBS teams.
Yeah, the fact that they can run the ball a couple times and still have a chance here in 3rd and medium to convert. You're going to see a lot of zone schemes from the Spartans because the amount of stunning and blitzing that the Aztecs do, it's very difficult to man block. You're going to see them crowd the line of scrimmage right now, threatening to bring 8-9 guys.
They got a lot of guys up in the box, and the pass over the middle, intended for Tim Crawley, falls incomplete on 3rd down and 4. And the San Diego State defense, which only yields 297 yards a game, 8th in the country, forces a 3-and-out.
A lot of pressure, forced to get the ball off early, throws it into a crowd. Aztecs know they got to get it off early, crowd the line of scrimmage, crowd the receivers, able to knock that away.
Well, for an offense that goes 3-and-out, it helps to have a strong punter. Michael Carrizosa, the Mountain West's leading punter, averaging about 45 yards a kick, sends Quest Truxton tumbling out of bounds after a 54-yard punt.
Gonna need it. Both of these teams thrive on good field position. Rocky Long talked about his offense huddling up, taking time of possession, running the ball, creating a short or a long field for the other team's offense. Now you see the ball back on the 20-yard line. It's important for the Spartans, if they're going to have a chance tonight, to make the Aztecs drive the length of the field. And
we'll tell you about Kristen Chapman, the quarterback, a redshirt sophomore from Carlsbad, California, because this might be the only time we talk about him tonight.
Well, he's really come along and done a nice job.
Well, he rolls out on 1st down, finds his tight end, David Wells, who had a nice game last week, 3 catches for 30 yards. In a game where last week no wide receiver caught a pass because of the big plays by Pumphrey.
You're seeing the really effective tight end play. And when you get in these running formations and you fake it, obviously Donnell's going to attract a lot of attention. And then the tight ends here, David Wells, Parker Houston, these guys will come in here and they'll block, they'll get dirty, they'll get their faces in the middle of this thing, and then they're able to catch the ball out of play action.
And off for Pumphrey, his first carry of the night, taking it to the right side. Well anticipated there as he gets 3 going into that front line and linebacking core of San Jose State.
The Spartans did a great job last week against Nevada, who is a very run-heavy offense. Crowded the line of scrimmage, preventing the Wolfpack from getting much of a running attack going. They're going to have to do the same thing tonight and try to put the game on the back of Christian Chapman and see if he can run it in the pass game, because Donnell Pumphrey will get after you if you leave any gap open.
Pumphrey trying to slip through that first tackle from Isaiah Irving, the defensive end.
Christian Tago, number 4 linebacker for the Spartans. You're going to see him in the middle. Very active player, former quarterback in high school. You love those guys who can move around a little bit. Keep an eye on both 4 and 5 inside for the Spartans. These guys are very active playmakers.
Second down and 10, and they've got Pumphrey in motion. Not only the leading rusher in the country, but also the leading receiver for this team, playing a vital role. And Curtis Anderson over the middle makes just his 4th catch of the year, the senior from Palmdale, California.
Had to go to him a little bit. Probably their number 1 receiver, number 6, Micah Holder's been a little bit dinged up, meaning they've had to get Anderson back in the action a little bit more. Sets up a really nice option here when you get 3rd and 4 and 5. The full playbook is open.
And it's getting 3rd down stops that has been the strength of San Jose State. 34th in the country, statistically speaking, and the throw comes in behind Pumphrey, intended for the running back, and both teams are forced to punt on their opening drives.
San Jose just dropping back into simple zone coverage there. Chapman just a little off target with the throw. Now, the thing that makes Donnell Pumphrey so dynamic is you've seen him. He can line up outside. He's such a great pass catcher as well as being in the backfield. So sometimes it makes it tough personnel-wise to see who's in the game to defense that.
Tanner Blaine sets it high for Ty Cottrell at the 25-yard line. That's where the offense will resume for San Jose State. Two games into Mountain West play, and San Diego State has been perfect so far. Their defense has been fantastic. No touchdowns allowed in their two Mountain West games so far this year. Tim Crawley, the wide receiver, crawls out of bounds, taking that forward pass from Potter, and minimal gain, if any, there for the redshirt senior from Santa Clara.
Both of these teams have a ton of speed, and you saw the Aztecs there. This 3-3-5, you're really only playing with three down guys. They do have a big man in the middle, the nose, Noble Hall. Most of these other guys converted linebackers, moving safeties down into linebacker. It's predicated on speed and agility.
Now that snap right there, it was far more than three guys along the defensive line as the pass goes to Crawley, and he's wrapped down right near the sticks and just shy, so it'll be about a yard to go on third down. That's an important point to make about this defense, Hawk, is on paper it's 3-3-5. On turf, rarely does it ever look that way.
Yeah, they usually end up in some form of four-man line, and they actually end up putting the linebacker, Ryan Dunn, 57, usually ends up being the fourth guy down.
Crawley with a distraction to race across the formation. Ziegler takes the handoff and pushes the pile forward.
You're seeing tonight a lot of experience on the sideline on the headsets. And two coaches, they really believe in running the football. They're going to huddle up. They're going to talk about field position, being able to maintain a positive balance when it comes to time of possession, running the football, and field position.
The 8th year as defensive coordinator for Rocky Long, one of two coaches in the country. Vanderbilt's Derek Mason, the other, to not only run his team, but also run his defense. Pickup of a couple there for Ziegler through the middle.
I think what happens sometimes when you become a head coach, you sort of move up into a glorified administrator, and you leave your strongest gift behind, which in many cases is actually running one side of the ball and or coaching. And if you've got an experienced staff like Rocky does, they can manage a lot of these. Got ex-head coaches on here, Jeff Horton, the OC, Bobby Houck, the special teams coordinator. He can go run that defense because he's got plenty of experience in the staff room.
It's a flag at the line of scrimmage, and the play immediately blown dead.
False start, number 75, offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
That's on Nate Velichko, who initially this week was listed as the starting right guard, and he's getting the start at right tackle. Come back last week against Nevada after missing 3 games. This is the first time since week 2 that it's the same offensive line out there week after week, and that's been a big part of the problems this year for San Jose State. Potter, he can run with it a little bit. He turns the edge, but doesn't get too much on second down. He did get out of the pocket, but Malik Smith was able to use his speed and take down the quarterback.
They knew Kenny Potter was going to have to get out and run a little bit against this blitzing defense. That ankle healing up, not able to get away from Malik Smith at the end, but able to avoid the sack.
3 wide to the bottom of the formation. And Deontay Cooper in at running back on 3rd down and 9. Not a lot of time. Thrown across the body and incomplete, intended for Justin Holmes.
Rocky Long saying they don't play a lot of zero, meaning they don't just lock up man. They usually have someone high. Now that time they did go zero or go +1 and bring an extra guy that they couldn't account for. Kenny Potter was able to wheel and get outside. Rocky talking to his defense going, how do you let a break contain?
The head coach can never be too content, right? It was 54 yards on the first boot from Carrizosa and a little bit more hang time. Not exactly a pro Spartan bounce on that kick. Out of bounds around the 30-yard line. 33-yard kick gives it back to San Diego State. 0-0 midway through the first.
Thanks.
Oh, it's another beautiful evening in America's finest city, but then again, when is it not? 0-0 San Jose State, San Diego State. Donnell Pumphrey, the country's leading rusher, 8th in the history of college football, has already passed Marshall Faulk yardage-wise, and now trying to pass the 2011 first ballot Hall of Famer as far as touchdowns go. Here is the second drive of the night gets underway for San Diego State. 1st and 10 after the punt from their own 30-yard line. Play action with Chapman rolling out, and it's the second catch of the evening for David Wells. Well, you set him up for the run and then take him out for the pass. 17 yards there.
Spartan's been crowding the line of scrimmage, little naked bootleg. Christian Chapman doing a good job throwing a little bit back across his body. That's a tough throw on the move. Usually easier to throw out front. I thought they might go a little play action, try to get over the top. And yes, folks, you see the fullback in a game here in this game.
A little bit of a throwback for you there. Pumphrey with some lateral quickness, picking up a nice block on the first line with Antonio Rosales, the right guard, clearing some space.
One of the things you always look for at a tailback is yards after contact. It's not just what you get, but once you get hit, you see him get hit, and he ends up getting 4, probably 5 yards after contact, only at 180 pounds.
How does he do it? He's not a big guy.
Pad level, strength, he's wiry, he gets going north and south and really accelerates into the cut.
He had some late defensive changes coming in for San Jose State. And Ron English, the defensive coordinator, Ron Carriger, the head coach, presumably not fans of what they saw there and always want to make sure they're lined up in the right spot. Carriger not pleased with the officials. Scott Campbell is our referee tonight. And there's Ron English in the white polo shirt, the defensive coordinator in year number 1 here for San Jose State.
I think they might have not liked what happened with some of the blocking on that last play. I think there was a crackback back inside. Could be wrong, but I think that's what they were talking about. Ron Carriger, I don't think, was liking that block.
Trying to get to Pumphrey, who's just 5'9", 180, and he's not unparalleled in sports. And we're not just talking about football, but you've got Isaiah Thomas in the NBA at 5'9", 185 pounds. Nate Robinson, 5'9", $180. He can throw it down with the best of them in the association. And Dustin Pedroia, work done as well. It's a guy who's got NFL caliber talent in Donnell Pumphrey. Inside the 30-yard line, Chapman with yet another hookup downfield. They move the chains with Wells once again, this time for 31 yards.
Jeff Horton, offensive coordinator, doing a really nice job. You've got to crowd the line of scrimmage and honor the run, and they go play action, get those safeties up in the box, and then when your tight end can get open down the seam, causes a lot of problems for that defense because the secondary, particularly the safeties, have a hard time supporting in the run game.
Handoff for Pumphrey as he tries to turn it to the outside and goes backward a yard.
Owen Roberts did a nice job playing backside there. He's the nose guard, 51. Did a nice job, got a hand on Donnell Pumphrey. because, again, he can cut back on a dime. We always talk about putting your foot in the ground. You're going to see him see good vision, start to get right back, and then right there, Owen saves a huge backdoor play.
2nd down and 11. Humphrey comes out of the backfield. Chapman was looking only to the left, now looks to the right, and goes down quickly. Isaiah Irving. Ron English says he's their best pass rusher, and he shows it off there to make it 3rd and long.
Yeah, comes into the game with 3 sacks, adds to that total. It's important to throw this team off down and distance-wise, put them in this situation. Been very impressed. It's been a good start, really, for the Spartans coming in here on the road, battling off a really, really gritty Aztec team.
Chapman at quarterback, making just his 9th career start. Already 3 completions tonight after he had just 7 last week. He steps up and to try and get some yardage, stretching toward the 1st down line, which is at the 12-yard line. He'll get close, but not enough.
Tough to tell. Looked like the foot was going out early, and then he reached. I think they're going to give him the full benefit of the reach. You can see he can run a little bit.
The offense is going to stay on the field here on 4th down and 2.
Well, normally this would be a throwdown, but when you got Donnell Pumphrey, 22 personnel, 2 tight ends, fullback.
And play action. Chapman looking short, and he's got it. 1st down. They convert on 4th and 2. David Wells makes another catch, his 4th of the night.
Maybe we should put him up for Heisman candidate.
He only had 8 catches on the year in 6 games coming in, and now they've got 1st and goal.
Yeah, going naked bootleg back to the left. Something's a little hard for a right-handed thrower. Clearly, the Aztecs were concerned about the pressure of San Jose State, because you've seen the naked bootleg several times early in the game here.
Here goes Pumphrey. Gets to about the 5-yard line on the quick cutback. Inside of 3.5 minutes. You're in the 1st quarter and still scoreless.
America's favorite play. I'm surprised we haven't seen the power. They're pulling the backside guard. Now, where Pumphrey's so good in this, he can go where the fullback or the pulling guard is, or if you leave a gap open on the backside, he's going to put his foot in the ground and cut it back against you, like we saw earlier in the UNLV film.
Nick Bawden, the fullback, has the lead block. The Spartans are ready once again, with Owen Roberts getting his helmet there in the mix very early, coming up and trying to say, hey, I got this thing here.
The Aztecs were talking about the Spartans playing bear defense when you got the center covered and both the guards, and you've got an 8-man front up there, makes it difficult. And then you have no throw option out of it. You basically have to put your pads down and try to get what you can get.
Can they hold? Can they build some confidence here? On the rollout, the throw back, and it's a touchdown. David Wells with a touchdown catch. He has been the early star of the offense as it's 6-0 Aztecs.
Some great misdirection early in this game from Jeff Horton and the Aztecs. A lot of sneaky good play action. Going back against the grain there, a little delay. Trying to get the converted fullback, Nick Bawden, out into the flat. Wasn't there. Chapman sets his feet and goes back against no pass rush.
What a way to open things up. John Barron, the southpaw kicker, for the extra point, caps it off to make it 7-0 San Diego State, as the junior tight end David Wells is the star of the drive. 4 catches for 53 yards, and this one to cap it off. 7-0 San Diego State trying to get bowl eligible tonight. Looking to go to 6-1. And David Wells, the junior tight end, his first career touchdown catch. And the ball sent into the night sky for a return by the Spartans. Rashid Johnson quickly smothered by that kick return unit. And they'll take it inside the 15 for drive number 3 on the night.
Bobby Houck, special teams coordinator for the Aztecs, comes into this game, was the head coach at UNLV. Done a nice job. Very highly rated in almost every special teams category. And now you see the Spartans back inside their own 15. Mike, I think they've got to take a shot here. They've got to back this defense off, get a little play action, get a little 1 or 2 man route, try to sneak a little explosion play.
They've had a lot of pre-snap motion here in the early going. Just trying to get Ziegler some blockers in front. And he gains maybe a half yard there. Stopped by Noble Hall, the defensive tackle.
Spartans had a little success running some zone inside. I don't think against this Aztec defense they're going to have much success trying to get outside on the jet sweep or the fly sweep. There's just too much speed. See, almost every play there's a secondary member running down late.
The offensive line holds up there against the rush. There's just nowhere to go once the pass is caught. That grab by Josh Oliver, the backup tight end, his 3rd catch of the season.
One of the things Kenny Potter, the quarterback, has to be able to do, there's 4-man rush. He's got to be able to sense what the pressure situation is. And if he's got a little time and it's only a 4-man rush, he can get a little more comfortable and scan the defense and see where he needs to go with the football. Multiple formations by both of these teams on offense.
They need just 3 yards here. Their longest play so far tonight has been 9 yards. It's a 4-man rush. He steps away from the first wave, heaves one-on-one down the sideline. There was contact with the pass intended for Justin Holmes, but it didn't look like that ball was catchable. Headed out of bounds, running with DeMonte Casey. Also important to note, Hawk, here, some deficiencies in the secondary tonight. Both Derek Babish and Billy Vaughn are out because of a rule violation. But DeMonte Casey is about as good as it gets in coverage.
Yeah, he's one of the mainstays, and they do play a ton of man coverage in this defense. So they're used to those double moves or the scramble rules where a receiver reroutes and heads down the field.
Truxton was going straight back, and now on a line forward as far as the 35, still working, and stays on his feet to the 37-38 yard line for San Jose State. 58-yard punt. Carrizosa has been very strong, and 15 hard-earned yards by Truxton. Only 12 yards so far tonight for Donnell Pumphrey. Let's see if we see some more when we come back.
It's endless.
Tomorrow night on ABC, JT Barrett and undefeated number 2 Ohio State visit Penn State. It's another tough Big Ten opponent on the road. Annual whiteout game at Beaver Stadium, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. The Buckeyes are perfect under Urban Meyer on the road since he's taken over in Columbus.
Aren't they usually perfect at home as well?
It's been a pretty good tenure over the last few years. First carry of the night for Rashad Penny. Yes, there is another running back on this team who's pretty good himself, the junior from Norwalk, California.
He brings in another 40 pounds that Donnell does not have, but they both can run pretty good, and they'll sneak him in at fullback, try to get him out in play action as well.
This is, as Scott Campbell told us,
that was an announcement
the end of the first quarter. You know who's in charge. 7-0 at San Diego State. In charge right now, Chapman with a touchdown toss to David Wells, our only score of the night. just like everybody predicted here tonight after one quarter. It would be 12 yards for Donnell Pumphrey and a 7-0 San Diego State lead with a touchdown scored by somebody not named Donnell Pumphrey. Mike Cousins, Dan Hawkins, glad to have you back. David Wells, the tight end, with the only score of the night for the Aztecs. And a throw to the flat, it's caught by the fullback, Nick Bawden, the converted quarterback who started there against Fresno State a couple years ago and has adapted very well to being a head-smashing fullback.
One of the great things about the culture of a winning program, which Rocky has here, you got a quarterback, they figure out he can't play quarterback or is not going to play quarterback. He opts rather than transfer to stay, move positions. They make him successful. He accepts it. That's what happens in really good football programs and really good cultures.
Through the middle and a quick wrap-up of Rashad Penny by Trayvon Bieria, the redshirt freshman safety.
Bieria plays down in the box a ton, and this is where I said expect some sort of play action and over the top, because San Jose State has been playing quarters, which means 4 deep. But those safeties in the middle of the field there, Maurice McKnight, number 10, and Bieria, 23, those guys are responsible for getting down in the box and helping stop the run.
Rollout and across the 45. Catches made by Jawan Washington. We go to the studio and check in with Adnan Virk.
You guys.
Well, it was going back to week 2, a 45-40 victory for San Diego State against those Cal Bears. Another huge game that night for Donnell Pumphrey. So far, that has not been the case. Much more pass than run. A bit unexpectedly so for the Aztecs. Flags come in with Andre Chasseray, the cornerback, in coverage, the likely offender against Truxton.
Chasseray all over him from the get-go. That was not much in doubt. San Jose State bringing pressure, and Chasseray knew he had to get it off early.
Pass interference, number 21. Defense, spot foul, automatic, first down.
One of the things you're going to see in both of these offenses is the quarterback doesn't always just take a bunch of empty shots. They're going to keep extra tight ends and fullbacks in. Good job flailing around. Always important if you're the receiver and you get held. Show that you got held.
It's like the old standardized test, show your work.
Exactly.
Make sure you've shown how you solve that square root. It's a bottleneck for Rashad Penny once again. This is a rushing defense that ranks 113th in the country out of 128. So not good for those of you not good at math. 228 yards a game. Last week, though, against Nevada, 257 yards total, their best effort of the year.
How many teams in Division I, Mike?
128, Hawk.
You know the details. That's why I love you. Ron English, defensive coordinator, really thought they were going to come around and like what they did last week against a heavy run offense from the Nevada Wolfpack.
All right, there's one-on-one. There's a catch by Penny, and he's down inside the 5 with a flag to boot on the tackle by Bieria.
You think this might be a late targeting call here? I think they might get Maurice McKnight coming in late with a helmet. We'll wait and see. And you saw Penny getting out of the backfield. This is where they can hurt you. They can get in a lot of different formations, out personnel you. Yeah, I think they're going to get McKnight for a helmet shot.
The ruling on the field is a completed catch for a first down. Personal foul, targeting, number 10, defense. The previous play is under further review.
Why is this important? If it's upheld, Maurice McKnight, a guy who you just talked about a few snaps ago, the center fielder of their defense, he's going to get ejected.
He's their leading tackler. He got face masking on the call as well. Comes in here, definite helmet to helmet, definite with the crown. Not necessarily a defenseless player. You can see face masking didn't get called, which is surprising. You we talk about the strike zone, and a lot of coaches out there doing a good job from the numbers down to the knees, just like baseball. That's where you got to hit. Beria trying to get the strip. McKnight coming over late.
And what they are going to look for here is John Hansen is our replay official here this evening in San Diego. Is there forcible contact to the head or neck area there of a defenseless player, of a player who's just, in this case, completed a catch and has not had time to protect himself.
Definitely forcible contact.
There can be helmet-to-helmet contact. That is not necessarily the indicator of a targeting foul, but
do you and I have to get in a boxing match up here in the booth right now?
I will lose squarely.
Well, we're going to play basketball later because we know the hotel's got a hoop, so we're going to get a midnight hoop game tonight. We'll see what kind of game you got from the Syracuse. I know you were a manager there, but yeah, back to the helmet-to-helmet. I just think they should clean it up, Mike, and just say, hey, if it's a shot to the head and neck area, it's targeting. That's what we're trying to do, is make the game safe. Why do we get in all these judgments about who's defenseless and who's not? And sometimes it's okay, and sometimes it's not. I think that causes confusion a little bit for the players.
Now, the other part of targeting here is Rule 914 is, did the player take aim for purposes of attacking with forcible contact beyond a legal tackle?
There is no foul for targeting. It's going to be first and goal, San Diego State.
Well, there you go. He went straight up rule by rule with your... Spell it out for him, attorney, Counselor Cousins.
It's Rule 914, and did he take aim for the purposes of attacking with forcible contact that goes beyond making a legal tackle? And I don't think he did. There was not a play from a crouch or an upward thrust there, and I think that's probably the difference of where that call was made.
And I didn't think necessarily he was defenseless either at that point, so... Good to see the young man stay in the game. They need him, certainly.
Turning the corner, Rashad Penny is in for the touchdown. That's his fourth rushing touchdown of the year. Curiously, it's not Donnell Pumphrey.
No, and curiously, I thought you were going to go with he ran out of an arm tackle by Maurice McKnight there around the edge. Unable to keep contained. America's played power, just enough speed to get it outside. McKnight not keeping the ball on his inside shoulder. Loses leverage on the outside. Nice to have a back like Rashad Penny come in. Donnell Pumphrey over there pumping up people on the sidelines. Rocky Long talked about what a great teammate he is. Said he didn't mind pumping him up for the Heisman and all that publicity. He's such a great kid.
Not a touch there for Donnell Pumphrey on the drive. It's a very versatile team as Penny gets 6.
Ron Carragher, head coach for the Spartans, upset. He thought there was a holding on Nick Bodden coming around the outside here as Rashad Penny gets outside. He thought McKnight got held. Tough, it's close, but I think the way the flags have been going, Ron Carragher a little upset that he thinks the officials are not giving the white jerseys the shake.
Wow, the shakedown on Rashid Johnson, with the Aztecs tumbling down the field. Tops of the safety.
Ron Carragher doing a little officiating. It's tough. He's had a couple of calls, and of course, McKnight almost ejected from the game. Then he thought he's pretty sure there was a holding call. I think just like on the pass interference, Mike, if you get held on the edge, you got to flail around and be a little bit of an actor. You got to show the officials, I'm getting held. McKnight was trying to play off the block, which you're supposed to do, but you need to kind of show it to the officials.
Down 2 touchdowns. Here comes San Jose State with their 3rd start of the night inside their own 20-yard line. And no forward momentum there. Sergio Phillips pounding through against Zamor Ziegler.
Aztecs doing a great job against the run. Spartans have to be able to block it up and get a play down the field here. Get this Aztec defense off them a little bit. A lot of motions and formations by Al Borges, offensive coordinator, but haven't been able to get a shot deep.
Forward pass for Crawley, and he stopped back at the 10-yard line, a loss of 3.
One of the things that's happening is the Spartans are trying to do a lot of influence. Block one way, running the jet sweep out, but this penetration defense isn't necessarily reading those blocks. They're just getting up the field and making plays. We used to call them readers versus screamers, and in this defense, you got screamers. That influence block doesn't work very much. Got to be careful. You're down by 2 touchdowns here. If you're the Spartans, you don't put yourself in a worse situation.
Pressure, and down he goes. Back at the 7-yard line. Austin Wyatt Thayer breaks through and makes the stop.
Pressure defense. Cooper was smart. He did not throw, Potter was smart. He didn't throw the ball away, but too much pressure, unable. You got to throw this ball on time. Got a chance to throw the ball up top to Justin Holmes down the seam over the top of the safety. Now be careful. This Aztec team is very, very good in punt return.
A 4th down and 17. Well, Hawk, if we learned anything, it's on a 4th and long in your own end zone. Don't fake it.
After the fact.
For those of you who watched Boise BYU last night, San Diego State, great field position coming up. Hockey Longs, San Diego State Aztecs looking pretty good right now, up 14-0 without the aid of Donnell Pumphrey even having a carry on that last drive. 10:31 here in the second quarter as they try and become bowl eligible, looking to go to 6-1. It's a race to the Cotton Bowl for the highest ranked team in the non-Power 5. Pumphrey is back on the field as here comes play number 13 of the night for San Diego State in Spartans territory. And a short gain there for Pumphrey, who did not factor in that last scoring drive, capped off by Rashad Penny with the rushing touchdown. That's the 7th carry of the night for Pumphrey, who's got now 13 yards.
When you've got the same amount of yards as your quarterback, that's certainly surprising. It says something about the versatility of the Aztec offense when you have David Wells catching 5 plays. Then Rashad Penny comes in the game, and he's the mainstay. Got a few weapons.
Well, they've got Pumphrey out trying to catch a pass. He's also their leading receiver. Maurice McKnight was in coverage. She waves his hands, but then 3 flags come in from the backside of the play.
Well, I think we're going to have another targeting look here. The area this time here.
The early targeting call against McKnight was overturned by replay, and it's another conversation on the field for Scott Campbell and his crew. If indeed targeting is the question, when in question, the book says it is a foul.
Personal foul. Number 23, defense. The previous play is under further review.
Send it on upstairs for another look.
Was the last one not in doubt? You see Pumphrey going out wide. You see his skills as a receiver, putting a good move on.
And that one should end the night for B area.
You'd have thought he'd have learned after McKnight nearly got into trouble. Part of this comes back to neuromuscular patterning and how you tackle and practice, how you're trained. You got to continue to work on it and emphasize it. Tackle daily or weekly. That strike zone from the armpit down to the knees. You're seeing again the versatility. Donnell Pumphrey, he is one tough peanut now. This guy 5'9", 180 pounds for the amount of care. Look at him smiling. It's like, bring it on. He's a ball player.
So what do you see as the difference here between the first targeting call that was overturned and the second one here that, at least as far as we think, will be confirmed.
I think it might be the defenseless part of it.
After review, the ruling on the field for targeting is confirmed. Number 23 is disqualified. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Tough blow. Tough blow for that young man, but trying to make football a safer game, and guys need to learn this.
Watch for the mouthpiece here come flying out at the end of that play. It's a hard hit, but it is certainly not a legal hit. It's down there somewhere.
Look at how tough he is. He's going, hey, I just need to find my mouthpiece.
Thank you. That's a good freshman. Parker Houston coming over to pick that up. You got to know who to help out. And it's certainly Donnell Pumphrey. So Bierria is ejected and will serve a suspension in the locker room for the remainder of the game.
Tough blow
the
for
officials
the
getting their placement right here.
Spartans.
First down and 10 on the 27. Pumphrey going to the left side. He's got speed. That's why he's so good. And he's in for the touchdown. A 27-yard run to tie the Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk for the most touchdowns in San Diego State history.
Showing his versatility. Play not necessarily designed to go all the way there. Good vision. He just cuts it all the way outside. Good crack block. Outruns two defenders. What he's got is acceleration in the hole. I don't know that he's a burner and flat out speed, but he can really accelerate in the hole. That's critical.
Spectacular speed. His first 7 carries went for 13 yards. His 8th of the night was a 27-yard touchdown run around the left side. His 62nd career touchdown. It's a shutout for the Aztecs. Right after the score, it's back to action here in San Diego. 21-0. San Diego State with the lead over San Jose State. Donnell Pumphrey, his 62nd career touchdown, ties Marshall Faulk for the career record at San Diego State. Already surpassed him earlier this year as the school's leading rusher.
Curtis Anderson's going to come down and crack on Kelly. The other Kelly does not replace speed. There is no substitute for speed, as Frank Broyles used to say when Herschel Walker would pour it around the edge.
Take the run and throw it to the outside. 9 yards on first down. On the first time that the Spartans have looked to Trey Hartley tonight. And the offense thus far has been hard to come by. Coming into this drive, 15 plays for just 23 yards for San Jose State.
They had to work extremely hard for that, going unbalanced, motioning back across, little play action. As you mentioned, getting it out to Trey Hartley, their leading receiver. Trying to run a quick screen outside. Ron Carriger not happy with the developments thus far. Aztec continue to crowd the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they brought 5 and had another guy waiting on the edge with Malik Roberson getting the handoff. It's like this San Diego State defense is like a Jackson Pollock painting. You know there's something there, you're just not exactly sure what you're supposed to be looking at.
You are just way above me right now, Jackson Pollock. I tell you what, you've gone beyond my... I'm an out-of-the-box guy, but that's out there now. Could you go like Picasso or something like that?
Rocky Long is painting a classic right now on defense.
Very confusing for the quarterback. You got guys shuffling in and out, and then that offensive line If we had them mic'd up, there'd be a lot of jabbering going on trying to figure out who's coming.
Can't sneak it between the defenders. Calvin Munson got a hand on it, intended for the tight end, Billy Freeman.
What happens when they drop out and play a lot of zone, the quarterback's got to get it ready. Everybody's got eyes on the ball. This is why they get so many interceptions, so many turnovers. They're not just necessarily covering grass. They're looking at that quarterback and reading those eyes.
And they find a way to get interceptions, too. This defense going against a senior quarterback. San Diego State's 11 picks are the most of the Mountain West. 3rd down and 9, throwing right to the chains. Justin Holmes makes the grab and gets the first down. Really big there for San Jose State.
Pretty good rhythm throw. One of the things that the Aztecs don't do much, you see a little bail here. Bail coverage, meaning the corner backs off. They don't always roll up that corner. That guy's usually playing soft. Now, he may be playing man, but many times those type of routes you can get away with because you don't have that hard corner in the flat and the safety over the top.
Now the blitz comes from the wide side of the field, and they run it to the short side and get about 2 yards there with Roberson, the sophomore from Harbor City, California.
Great job running that thing down behind by Dakota Turner. Now, this is a guy, this tells you something about Aztec football. Dakota Turner playing defensive end. First 3 games of the year, he started at fullback. Then they move him over to D-end. That's how athletic this defense is.
Early motion against the Spartans.
False start, number 9. Offense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
It's the wide receiver, Justin Holmes. This college football season, stream every game live on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. You can download the app or visit watchespn.com today. You've got great action here tonight. A couple of games going on late on a Friday night. Ohio State, Penn State tomorrow late night on ABC. It will be a great Saturday of college football. That's your marquee matchup.
Great break on the ball. Great timing.
It's Trey Lomax there.
He's one of the safeties. They run a 3-safety situation here. Trey Lomax doing a great job coming over the top, making sure he stayed off of that left arm. Batting that ball down again, reading the quarterback. It's Aztec defense. They put you in a lot of 3rd and long situations. A lot of tackles for loss, a lot of sacks, a lot of disruptive plays.
On the run, pocket breaks down for Potter. Now going back across the field. He wants somewhere to throw it, has nowhere to put it, and he goes down on 3rd and long. Wyatt Thatcher in hot pursuit again. His 2nd tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
Man, this is sweet defense. I'll tell you what, this makes everybody stand up and pay attention. This cat is 15, 20 yards down the field. As soon as he sees Potter break and contain, he's the guy that pulls the chain, runs up and make the tackle for a loss. That's impressive defense.
Fair catch called for at the 21-yard line by Truxton. Takes a bit of a hit there and goes down. Wyatt Thayer, the senior backup linebacker, says, Potter, you got nowhere to go. We're making it hot tonight in San Diego. Well, a couple of big plays for Donnell Pumphrey. One was showing what he can withstand. An incomplete pass, a targeting foul against Trayvon Bieria. His day is done. Meanwhile, Pumphrey, the nation's leading rusher, only guy in the country who's gone over 1,000 yards, added to his total from 27 yards out. His 62nd career touchdown. And after a punt, his quarterback, Christian Chapman, goes to work, taking it on the ground. He's got some wheels, and the redshirt sophomore moves the chains.
Donnell Pumphrey, 5'9", 180 pounds. Now, you guys didn't like it. You pushed all Isaiah Thomas and all that. I tried to go with Michael Jackson because Michael Jackson was 5'9". Okay, this guy's 5'9", 180, Mike. And the toughness that he displays and his durability is impressive. That says something about this guy's spirit.
Very lightly recruited coming out of high school in Las Vegas. His high school coach, Hunky Cooper, is now on the staff here at San Diego State and says they had to order extra small pants for him specifically because of his size.
Yeah, sometimes guys get into that height, weight thing, and I get it. That's part of it. But, boy, you can't ignore production. And certainly from the tailback position, durability.
Here it
Really
is, second and 8.
Sorry, the Spartans have got to get some sort of turnover. There you go.
Well said, Coach Hawk. Frank Ginda with the interception. And for the first time tonight, San Jose State will run a play in San Diego State territory.
That's awesome. That's what has to happen. Spirits are down. You defense got to get out there and say, all right, offense is struggling. Let's create a turnover. Let's get a little excitement going. Yeah, Christian knows. Should not have thrown that ball. Now, the Aztecs were reacting late. Getting it right in the throwing lane. That ball had no chance. Christian was kind of making up his mind before he even threw that ball. All right. Spartans offense has got to make it happen now. They got to draw it up from within. O-line's got to get fired up and get something happening.
It's Potter in the shotgun on 1st and 10. And the handoff for Roberson. That's a very rare interception to give the ball to San Jose State because Christian Chapman, the sophomore quarterback for the Aztecs, in his last 81 passes going back to September 17th against Northern Illinois, had not thrown a pick.
Well, they're 12th in the country in turnover margin, and that's always the #1 indicator of winning and losing at the end of the year. And so Rocky Long talked about that. Turnover's one thing, and then down in your own territory makes it even tougher.
All right, short completion. First down and then a little bit more. Roberson again, who made his first career start last game, did not start today, but is trying to be an impact player here for the Spartans.
Had a big game last week against Nevada. I thought he did a nice job. He runs with a little bit of authority. He has a little bit of breakaway speed. You saw him doing a couple spin moves down the sideline, breaking about 3 tackles. Al Borges doing a nice job, faking the fly sweep, running power on the first play, then coming back with a bootleg, moving the pocket to get away from pressure.
Potter gives it up inside. The first tackle slipped away by Roberson, and he's down inside the 10. And it is still possible for San Jose State to pick up another first down if they get inside the 3 and don't score. It'd be 1st and goal.
Multiple formations by the Spartans. They're not a huddle team, but they're not a hurry-up team. Al Borges just wants the ability to go fast, but play action down here inside the tight red area. Here you go.
Throw into the end zone and a little bit too high and a little bit too far with Josh Oliver deep and Shane Smith, the fullback, underneath.
Smart play by Kenny Potter. You get down here in the red area, hey, at least guarantee yourself some points. Do not turn the ball over. He gets outside the pocket, just gets rid of it. Last thing you want to do is throw the ball into a crowd, get it picked, and deny the momentum that your defense has got going. Be interested. You're down 21-0 on the road. I'd try to get half the yardage and see if you didn't have a good 4th down play to try to get up the first down. Not sure field goal is going to do you much good at this point.
10 defenders at the line of scrimmage, one-on-one, end zone, incomplete, going for Justin Holmes.
Sweet back shoulder play. Holmes thought he had it on the end zone over there. See if they take a look at this play. Officials all over it. That's what happens when the corner plays high. Just going to throw it on the back shoulder. Tough to see if that ball moved. He does get a foot down. Caught.
The ruling on the field of an incomplete pass is being reviewed. Previous review.
Hard to see exactly if that ball. You can kind of see. I don't know if that's his elbow or the tip of the ball.
Well, the first question is, does he get a body part down in the end zone? And it looks like the left foot hits into the end zone. And then the second question will be, does he maintain firm control of the ball as he goes to the ground, completing the action of the catch? The ball can touch the ground, but he has to maintain firm control.
Now, we got an official standing right there, and I don't know if we're going to get a view that would allow replay to overturn it.
And that's going to be the difficult part here for the Spartans trying to get the touchdown. Because the ruling on the field was incomplete, he needs indisputable video evidence to overturn that.
Tim, our spotter, is going, that ball's down. But I'm not sure if it ends up being the elbow. Oh, I think Tim was right. I think that ball does get down there. But like I said, the official's standing right on top of it. And there's certainly, I don't think, enough evidence to overturn it. I think the ball did touch down there.
All right, we've got ourselves a decision.
That's why we have a crack spotting crew.
The ruling on the field of an incomplete pass stands. 4th down.
Take a bow.
No indisputable video evidence to say one way or the other, so the incomplete call on the field is what holds. 4th and 6, and the field goal unit comes on. It's Bryce Crawford, the sophomore from Frisco, Texas, 5 for 7 this year. His try is from 26.
Yeah, Rocky Long was yelling, watch the fake. I was kind of thinking the same thing, but Ron Carragher trying to get a few points on the board. 3 minutes to go in the half. Good stop by the Spartan defense with the interception.
They do it with their defense. With the Spartans looking for a win, trying to make it 2 in a row to improve to 3 and 5. Meanwhile, San Diego State trying to get themselves in the conversation. With a win, they'd go to 6 and 1. Group of 5 teams. You got Houston, which started hot, unexpectedly lost to Navy. Boise State last night, wow, on the blue turf. Stays undefeated, 7-0 with a win against BYU. Western Michigan, under head coach P.J. Fleck, has been the pride of the Mid-American Conference at 7-0. And Navy is the team that Houston's not all too happy with right now, blocking their path to the conference championship game in the American. Headed to the Cotton Bowl, it's the highest ranked group of 5 team. In my opinion right now, Western Michigan perhaps has the best shot to get there. Who do you think?
Well, the go-rider we have to add to that is they've got to win the championship, which, as you mentioned, Houston has a hard time with Navy right now. Navy's got to lose twice for them to have an opportunity to get in there and win it.
Right, blocking their path to get there within the American Conference.
You're asking me to go against my Broncos?
Well, you know, in order for, let's just say,
I guess they're both Broncos, Western Michigan Broncos and Boise State Broncos.
For Boise State, I think the path is a little bit more difficult because theoretically, if they reach the Mountain West Championship game, they've got to run through San Diego State,
who has been a thorn in the Broncos' side several times. I think Rocky has done a great job against Boise State, and these Aztecs have beaten them a couple times, once here and once in Boise.
Houston still gets Louisville later this year with a chance to at least bolster their strength of schedule. It's Pumphrey right through the middle. San Diego State is hot, though. They're 2-0 in the Mountain West, and they have a 13-game conference winning streak, which is tied with Clemson for the longest active streak in the country. The Tigers 7-0 at number 4 in the rankings, coming off a win against NC State, a little bit closer than many would have thought last week. 2.5 minutes left here in the opening half. Play action, high toss over the top, goes to Bawden once again. His second catch of the day. Chapman finds the fullback from Los Gatos.
Now the Spartans had two guys coming off the edge, Mike. You've got to get one guy to collision. You see the pressure coming off here. Ginda comes up the field. He's got to be able to collision the guy coming back across the formation. Bawden gets open. Earlier was David Wells. Now they're going to Bawden.
1st and 10. This is not an offense that plays at a high tempo. How do you think they'll function here with 2 minutes to go?
Well, I think they have the capability to get there, but they've got plenty of time, and obviously they have big play capability. Up 21-3. I don't think Rocky's going to push it much until they get down and be able to take a couple of shots, especially with the ball in their own territory.
It's an SEC top 25 doubleheader for you tomorrow. Arkansas against Auburn, which has won 3 straight. And then Coach O against his old squad, Ole Miss. Number 23 versus number 25 with the return of Leonard Fournette. That's tomorrow night, 9 Eastern on ESPN and watch ESPN. Looking for that shot here.
I like what Coach O's doing with that club. I really do. I think he's opened it up. He's a guy, gets shown the walking papers at Ole Miss and SC. He's learned a lot. You got a little chip on your shoulder. He's from that way. I think they've done a nice job. Coach Ensminger now calling the plays, opening up the playbook. They know they got athletes down there. I think those kids are playing with a little bit of spunk, and Coach O wants them to have some fun. I think that's going to be a heck of a ball game. I got to lean towards the Tigers.
Yeah, 3-win team there for Ole Miss with not an exceptionally impressive resume to this point.
Tried to go with a little pump, throwback screen.
And out of bounds, well short of midfield, which is where the first down marker is. And that brings up 4th down with 62 seconds.
Christian's got to be a little smarter there. Stay in bounds. He's not going to get a first down. Let that clock burn. Don't stop the clock. Give Al Borges a chance to throw one up here with just a minute left in the half.
If there's any significant drawback to San Diego State at 5-1, it's a loss against South Alabama, and also having a younger quarterback with Chapman and just career start number 9 tonight.
That was a head scratcher, Mike, that South Alabama game. Now, South Alabama's a team that beat Mississippi State, and they beat the Aztecs.
San Diego State, yeah.
But, you know, they've struggled in the Sun Belt this year.
False start, number 16. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
That has really been surprising to see the Jaguars go to 0-4 in the Sun Belt and yet have bigger wins. Now, granted, it's a down year for Mississippi State, but San Diego State is one of the best group of 5 teams. And that has been the blemish, the lone blemish to this point on the resume for the Aztecs. A chance to set up good field position here for San Jose State. A burst on the return by Ty Cottrell.
Got to be able to get the ball up when you punt it. Low liner's not good.
Early season, a game that the Aztecs certainly thought they could win. It was another big day for Donnell Pumphrey, this time at Ladd-Peebles Stadium in Mobile. What it came down to was the 4th quarter. The Aztecs led this game going into the 4th quarter. They had a backup snapper in for a punt. It went long. It turned into 6. They had another ball that was fumbled, turned into 6 more. That's not only hurting the Aztecs as far as being undefeated, but it's also hurting the potential Heisman awareness surrounding Donnell Pumphrey. However unfair that may or may not be, depending on voters' prerogative. A run through the middle. There's some burst there as Potter goes into midfield and slides forward.
Now, one thing the Aztecs haven't seen much on film is a Potter that can run like this, because his ankle's been dinged up. He ran a little bit against Nevada last week, but he hasn't shown a lot of this kind of stuff on film. I think a little shocking for the Aztec defense.
He ran for the game-winning score against the Wolfpack last week. That was a fingertip ball along the sideline, and it's incomplete for Hartley.
It's like Hartley, yeah, he kind of messed up either his finger or his right shoulder. Potter trying to go with a little timing out. Didn't quite get over that front foot. Ball did not get out of his hand quick. "31 seconds, 2 timeouts. You got 4 plays in the queue. Plenty of time to maneuver yourself at least for field goal.
On a 4-man rush, Potter still flushed out of the pocket, going headlong inside the 40-yard line. They got to take a timeout here.
Good quicks right here, bringing just 4. They've had a little more success with 5 or 6, condensing some of those running lanes. Nobody assigned to Potter. Great clock management by Ron Carragher. It's tough sometimes when the ball gets down around that first down marker. You wait, and is it? Clearly it's a couple yards short, but sometimes when it's close, you take a little too long trying to figure out whether that clock's going to stop because of a first down. 23 seconds, you got 3 plays. You got 1 timeout. You'd like to save that timeout for the field goal, but you got at least 2, maybe 3 plays you can get here. You're definitely in 4-down territory. Got a chance to get a first down, so it doesn't matter where you throw the ball right now. Clock will stop to move the chains.
The Aztecs showed pressure. They bring it and force the incomplete pass. Well, whether they bring 4 or they bring 6 or 7, they're getting there almost every time.
Yeah, the difference is right there. They cover every running lane for Potter. Trying to move the pocket to give a little bit of protection.
Fourth down and 2, and the Spartans down 18. Still have 1 timeout. Three wide receivers set. Potter with his feet set, throws right to the marker, and the catch is made by Crawley, who's forced toward the sideline. Now 14 seconds on the clock.
Okay, get ready, guys. Get ready. Clocks are going to, chains are going to get set. See. Not good. That's not good clock management. You got San Diego State is running out with the water. I don't know if they're going to charge San Diego State with a timeout, or I guess not. Should have spiked it, Mike. Should have got up on the line of scrimmage right there. You got 14 seconds left. You got a first down. Go ahead and clock it. Save your timeout.
12 seconds left in the half. Looking ahead to tomorrow night on ABC, JT Barrett and 6-0 Ohio State take on Penn State in Happy Valley. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
You think the Nittany Lions are going to have a chance there?
The odds say probably not, given what Urban Meyer has done on the road with Ohio State, but we'll see, and so will you. And now 12 seconds left here before halftime. Heave one up here?
All right, no, I don't think you heave one up. I think you want to give yourself a chance to at least get a good field goal here. Try to throw the ball for half the yardage. If you get 10 yards, you can call timeout, get your field goal team out, go in at halftime with a little bit of momentum.
They just used their last timeout, though, so
there you go.
They're down inside the 25 here. They've got a first down.
There
or
you go.
do they? They don't.
Done.
They don't, and it's halftime. Thought he got the yardage, and he didn't. Now, if it was a first down, which the chains say it is right now, the clock should have stopped, which should give them time to spike the ball. So there should be about 3 or 4 seconds left on the clock, but the way it played out was it just ran down to 0.
Yeah.
So
Got to get there.
They're going to go upstairs and get on the replay headset, I would imagine, and figure this out.
Get underneath the center. As soon as the umpire moves and the ref blows it ready for play, you got to be ready to spike. Now, we've had issues with this before. Sometimes the umpire's telling you not to snap it.
Ruling on the field is a first down. The previous play is under further review.
Yeah, they're probably going to check the clock. Yeah, they had to waste the timeout because they didn't clock the ball. Potter goes for the scramble, which was deadly. He's lucky that he got the first down. Ball at the 34.5. Potter takes off running.
So he stretches forward to about the 24, 25 yard line, which would set them up for a 42-yard field goal try here with a spike coming up. And they will, if they put 4 seconds on the clock there, that will allow them enough time to be able to spike the ball.
So what's going to happen now is the ump's going to stand over the ball as soon as he backs out, and that center, here's the ref, blow it ready for play. He's got to snap. The knee goes down right there. Looks like the ball is just beyond. In that case, it'd be 20, yeah. That is the 25-yard line you're seeing right there, so it's 24 3/4. But they're actually putting the ball on the 25 now. It looked like the ball was a little farther ahead than that. The issue will be, I think, a little bit with the amount of time on the clock. They can see that.
And looking forward, if the clock is corrected to what we're estimating it will be, about 4 seconds, so they're going to set themselves up for a field goal. Bryce Crawford, the kicker, has a long this year from 36, and that was in week 1. 6 for 8 this year, having connected from 26 yards earlier in this game for the lone score for San Jose State. All right, we've got a call, and we'll send you down to the field.
After review, the runner was short of the line to gain by a yard. Therefore, he did not make the first down. The half is over.
Well, that certainly clarifies things, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, there's definitely a question of where you're going to mark him down. Again, you come down to clock management. Should have clocked it after the first down. They had to take their last timeout. Then Potter needs to know.
In that situation,
With only 10 seconds left, you go scrambling. Yeah, you go scrambling. You got issues.
not a huge half for Donnell Pumphrey, the nation's leading rusher, but a team effort for San Diego State in half number one. Pumphrey did find the end zone, his 62nd career touchdown to tie Marshall Faulk for most in school history. A 27-yard run at the break. The Aztecs lead by 18. San Diego State off to a great start tonight, up 21-3, their best start since 1977, before Rocky Long even got into college coaching. We thought it was going to be all about Donnell Pumphrey, Coach Hawkins. Not the case for the nation's leading rusher. He got some help from David Wells, and then Rashad Penny out of the backfield on a drive where Pumphrey didn't touch the ball.
Showing a tremendous amount of diversity. We would never expected him to throw the ball more than they've been rushing it. Pumphrey comes in, a receiver takes a shot. Targeting call. Shakes that off, comes back. The next play shows his speed, taking it to the house. Numbers not normally what you would expect from a Heisman Trophy candidate, and the leading yards per game athlete in the country.
He came in as the only player in the country to have more than 1,000 yards rushing this year, leading the nation as well with 185 yards a game. 11 first half carries for 49 yards. Well, if you went over about 200 or so tonight, he had the opportunity to move into 5th place. And the opportunity is still on the table with 30 minutes to go, but it'll take quite a bit for him to move up that high. And he's got Cedric Benson, the former Texas running back, in his sights at number 7 overall. And of course, you're probably wondering, well, who's number 1? And it's Ron Dane. He came into the night 1,015 yards off that first place mark among all-time FBS rushers. And Pumphrey gets the carry to start the second half, his 12th touch on the ground this evening.
Boy, those numbers are impressive. And you look at the names that were cropping up there, some of the great players in college football, and you see what Donnell Pumphrey has done. Very impressive. Running a little toss play out here. Just a physical, tough runner, getting his pads down. Actually thought he came up just a hair limping on this play, but he's such a tough guy.
Run him right now, run him left. And he meets a brick wall there named Jermaine Kelly. Nice job of tackling one-on-one, which proves hard to do sometimes.
Pretty good job by Kelly coming up and making a tackle. He was not able to make that play on Donnell Pumphrey's last outside zone play. Bowden kicks him out, forces him back inside, but he can accelerate up in there.
Pumphrey coming off a game last week where he passed LaDainian Tomlinson, Herschel Walker, and Archie Griffin on college football's all-time rushing list. And a burst of speed shows you why there. They'll pick up another first down as he blows past McKnight.
Aztecs have a nice little wrinkle, motioning back, changing the strength of the formation, and then San Jose tilts back over, then they run it back the way the motion came from. Maurice McKnight making the tackle. He was called for targeting and it got overturned in the booth.
Short handoff gets 2 yards to the inside for Pumphrey, and it's a number that stands out if only because of how good Pumphrey is and how heavily he's used. A career-high 38 carries last week. You go back now, the last 6 quarters of play, the first half of this game and the entirety of last week's game, the wide receiving core for San Diego State has a combined 1 catch.
Well, that's because of the emergence of David Wells putting on a show here from the tight end position tonight.
Off the back foot.
Smart play.
Intentionally thrown out of bounds by Christian Chapman.
Spartans having an answer. They suffered a lot of losses from that bootleg. Captain Obvious. Okay, obviously he was out of the pocket. But Spartans had a good answer to the bootleg, which gave them a lot of problems in the first half. Again, just diversity of formations and play calls on both of these teams. Pretty amazing.
Now 3rd down and 8. Going underneath, it's Pumphrey with a jolt. Across to his left, wrapped up by Frank Ginda, who had an interception in the first half. Very close at the first down marker, placed at the 35.
Just a hair short. Heavy personnel coming in. Watch him put his foot in the ground. Probably should have bursted a little bit there, but really good change of direction. Got the jumbo package in.
One of the big men, Ryan Pope, the right tackle spot, 6'7", 325. So they get a lot bigger there right side.
Change of formation with those tight ends.
That's exactly where they go, a strong push. And another Pumphrey-led first down.
This is where teams can really lean on you and break your will. They can just pound the football at you. It takes a physical toll. They're grinding the clock. You're down anyway. Tough on your morale. Your offense is over there getting cold.
First down, play fake. Pumphrey comes out of the backfield across the 30. Lowers the shoulder there to show off some of that burst.
I like it. Uh-oh.
William Oside lingered perhaps a little bit too long there on top of Pumphrey after making the tackle.
Trying out his rhetoric skills. Not winning on the scoreboard, so he's going to try to go back to the rhetoric game. Donnell put his pads
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 11, defense, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down. That's number 11's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul for the game.
Let's talk about stats that don't matter. San Jose State is the least penalized team in the Mountain West, but that's one you can't afford when you're down 21-3.
Drives, penalties that continue a drive are important. See Donnell just putting his pads down right there. Trying to challenge each other. Yeah, he's kind of taunting him a little bit. Probably had a few words for him as well. Got to keep your poise.
It's a toss, very reminiscent of a touchdown run earlier in the game. Rashad Penny gives Pumphrey a blow. The 9th play of the drive, 7 of the 9 plays coming on this opening third quarter drive have belonged to Donnell Pumphrey.
Really love how Rashad Penny and Pumphrey share the load, take the egos out of it. You see him over there, he's smiling. Coach Long could not say enough great things about what a great kid he was, what a great leader. He kept saying he's just one of the guys. When you have your best player has that kind of attitude, it does a lot for your team.
Penny lowers the shoulder at the goal line, and he is in. His second rushing score of the day, his 5th of the year, and the lead grows larger at 24 for San Diego State.
Love that power play. You get an extra 40 pounds in the game here with Rashad Penny trying to run power over to the left side, pulling the guard, leading with a fullback. Actually surprised we haven't seen it more tonight. That's a play that these guys love to run. Ron Carriger scratching his head. Had a tough year. Good win for them at home last week against the Wolfpack. Running into the buzzsaw. Backside guard pull. Pulling with a fullback. His knee hits on the line. Looks like he's in. Good push up front. Look at the dent you get. Really great block by Nico Saragusa. 3-year starter at center. Team captain. Great when you have that kind of leadership at the center position.
High snap. But a nice job by Tanner Blaine, who's also the punter, to get it down in time for John Barron, who trumps the crossbars to make it 28-3. Pumphrey was heavy usage on that drive. But for San Diego State, take a penny, leave a penny. Rashad gets into the end zone as the lead continues to build.
Everybody around here wanna taste that freedom.
San Diego State on the verge of bowl eligibility at 5-1 and trying to keep a 14-game Mountain West Conference winning streak alive. Rashad Penny found a lane into the end zone. 6 carries, 22 yards on the night. And his second touchdown of the game helps extend the lead for Rocky Long and company. Winningest head coach in the history of the Mountain West between his time at New Mexico and here at San Diego State. Has built a defense, a 3-3-5 that doesn't always look so simple, but it is always effective.
A lot of guys attacking the line of scrimmage, coming from different parts. crowding the line of scrimmage, running to the football. A lot of athleticism. Ryan Dunn getting up the field. Linebackers that play D-line, safeties that play linebackers. A lot of pressure on the quarterback. Here you see right here, going to take off scrambling. Austin Wyatt there comes from deep in the secondary to track down and get a sack.
First down give to Malik Roberson, one of 3 running backs who have gotten significant time this year. Zamor Ziegler got the start today, the redshirt freshman returning off of a 2-game hiatus with an ankle sprain. It's been Roberson more here in this second half, but they've not been able to get anything going against this defense that has not allowed a touchdown in almost 3 Mountain West games.
Yeah, I was going to say, they haven't been able to get anything going. Who has?
Quick play fake, and it has to be with how quickly the pressure has gotten there. Way too high for Trey Hartley. All of a sudden, 3rd and 6. What has been the biggest challenge for play caller Al Borges tonight?
Well, that pass needed to be high because Cameron Kelly was underneath and been intercepted. He had to throw it high. Biggest challenge, they can't get him blocked. Watching the Wolfpack film from last week, I thought they struggled a little bit up front. Now they've got the starting 5 that they had at the start of the year back in there. But too much penetration, getting into the backfield, causing disruption with plays and timing.
The 4-man rush with a stunt across the line. The ball is tipped and falls incomplete, nearly intercepted. Hartley was the intended recipient. That went through about 4 or 5 pairs of hands. Most of them belong to Aztec defenders.
Yeah, Al Borges not too happy. You see the stunt, the TT inside. Thought Hartley was going to make this snatch. Really strong hands, just able to get it out at the end. Kelly again breaking up this play. These guys play a lot of zone. They keep their eyes on the ball. They keep their eyes on the quarterback.
Maybe the best player, statistically speaking, tonight for San Jose State has been Michael Carrizosa, the sophomore punter. Sends it long, 52 yards. It's a wonderful Friday in Southern California. In other parts, it's a wonderful Saturday morning. My cousin's Dan Hawkins with 9:27 left here in the 3rd. And the Aztecs in control. They take over after a punt and understandably keep the ball on the ground. That's been the strength of this team. And, of course, with a large lead, want to keep going back to the ground, whether it's Rashad Penny or the nation's leading rusher, Donnell Pumphrey.
One of the things that's different about this type of offense, San Jose's crowding the box, playing bear defense. They got extra defenders up in there, but the Aztecs don't care. They're just going to run it. They don't care if you have numbers advantage at times. They're just going to pound on you.
Pumphrey trying to take the cutback lane. Stopped by Frank Ginda.
You see right there, even though they don't have a lot, they still get 2 yards. Barry Sachs, defensive line coach for the Spartans, longtime West Coast coach. Trying to get his defensive line to keep pushing. A lot of experience on both sides of these sidelines today, on both staffs. San Jose needs a blitz. They need to get a disruption play.
Now Pumphrey has some disruption getting through. And now a fight for the football back at the 37-yard line, and the ball stays with the Aztecs.
You're getting pounded on. Hey, even if it's quick death, you got to try to get into the backfield, cause a negative play. Just got the ball. You see his high and tight, then it comes down. He's got the tip down. The head gets right on it. Leading tackler.
McKnight.
Yep. Maurice McKnight been around the football all night long.
A couple of guys quick to get in on it. Daniel Brunskill, the right tackle, former tight end, had his nose in there. On the rollout, Penny makes the catch. The running back turns upfield inside the 35. He drew great praise from offensive coordinator Jeff Horton, who says we could easily start him at wide receiver, and they use him here to help move inside and well inside San Jose State territory.
Another bootleg. He had Eric Judge right in the same category, in the same area. See him running stride for stride. Judge in the front on the left, and Penny out there on the right.
Where's the defense?
Little depth exchange. Well, they've struggled. They've struggled with that bootleg most of the night. Had it contained on the previous drive. Very difficult the way they run the football. Looks like Jermaine Kelly going down there with an injury.
7:23 left here in the third. And looking to Saturday night on ESPN, a big-time game, 6 Eastern, Austin Allen in Arkansas against Auburn at Jordan-Hare. And then Coach O at number 25 LSU not only welcome Leonard Fournette back to the field, but they welcome 23rd-ranked Ole Miss to Death Valley. We'll see how Chad Kelly does, the quarterback for the Rebels. This LSU defense has allowed only 3 passing touchdowns this year, and a crucial game for both sides. Ed Orgeron trying to make his case to his athletic director, Joe Oliva, to be the full-time head coach there. And for Hugh Freeze and the Rebels trying to get above 500 and go to 4-3.
Going to be another tough night in Tiger Stadium, especially with Leonard Fournette back in the action. Dave Aranda, defensive coordinator for Tigers, doing a good job. Of course, he came down from Wisconsin. Justin Wilcox goes and takes over the defense for the Badgers, doing a nice job.
Humphrey still in there at running back, goes to the right side. And gets maybe back to the line of scrimmage.
Continue to wear on you, continue to grind on you. Rocky Long, he understands this formula of football, that if your offense isn't on the field, if they don't turn it over, if you have field position, you're going to win the game. And sometimes it's not exotic. You don't see as many teams around the country. Stanford subscribed to that formula. Michigan State, of course, has made a living with that type of formula.
There's a hole. The 25-yard line with about a yard to go before the first down marker. And a cut tackle from Maurice McKnight.
Maurice McKnight saved a touchdown there. Big gap up inside. Outside zone play. Bodden with a cut block. You see again the vision and the ability to accelerate in the hole. McKnight, if he hadn't got him, the band would have been playing. A lot of guys crowding the line of scrimmage here trying to stop this attack.
First tackle slipped. The second one is where he goes down in the arms of Isaiah Irving. You know, the defensive line has not necessarily, for San Jose State, gotten a lot of push into the backfield with these big sets, 2 tight end operations for San Diego State. But will you give them credit here at least in that the linebackers and secondary have done a nice job limiting big gains for Pumphrey?
Well, that's why McKnight's the leading tackler. Typically in this type of defense, when you play quarters a lot, which they have, not necessarily tonight, but that safety's got to come down in the box and be a playmaker.
Down inside the 20-yard line for a pickup of 2. And for Pumphrey now tonight, it's his 28th career 100-yard rushing game. San Diego State record, the most among active FBS players. And he comes off the field after that rush.
We talked a little bit, you know, when does he come out of the game? I don't know. It's probably a little early in the third quarter. But with Rashad Penny, a great, capable player as well. You want to keep Pumphrey healthy for down the stretch, as you mentioned. Good chance, if it goes according to Hoyle, They'll be in the Mountain West Championship game.
Penny sticks it forward. Fourth trip inside the red zone here for San Diego State. And they've scored a touchdown on their 3 previous trips. Pumphrey was out of the game for that snap there with his helmet having come off. So a mandatory play along the sideline. And then the bell cow is right back onto the field as he looks to continue a great night, which is his 6th straight with over 100 yards rushing.
100% in the red zone for the Aztecs. You can do that when you run the football as well as they do.
Looking to throw. Now Chapman takes off. He's inside the 10 and goes headlong. First and goal upcoming for San Diego State.
Flag coming in late. Got a little extracurricular going on. Hard to tell, officials talking to guys on both sides. Chapman does a nice job with his legs, not the typical drop back player. These coaches again talked about his ability to run the ball.
After the play was over, personal foul, number 15, offense. The first down was 10 yards back. It'll be 1st and 10, State.
The penalty is on Nick Bawden, the fullback.
Pass protecting. See Chapman taking off and running. Got to be careful, slide when he can. He goes with the cut block here, which is legit. Now, once Chapman went down, I think Nick tried to get in there and help his quarterback out.
Bawden threw his body on top of that pile at the end of that play, hence the late flags. 112 yards on the night. Add some more to the total for Donnell Pumphrey. It's 139 as he scampers for 23 and his 2nd score of the evening.
So subtly spectacular. Good little hesitation. Separation on your left side. Good vision, cut, dip, burst, finish. Ball leverage.
It should be 135, Hawk, not 139. It doesn't take away from how impressive it was for Donnell Pumphrey there once again to find his way for pay dirt.
Did about 4 really sweet, subtle things in there you don't see guys do. Little vision, little cut, little acceleration.
And he continues his attack on college football's record books. He only needed to average 127 yards a game for the rest of the year. He wants to end up at number 1, and he's on his way before the 3rd quarter is over. It's now 35-3 after the 2nd rushing touchdown of the night for Donnell Pumphrey, who's only gotten stronger as the night has gone on. 24 carries for 135 yards. In the 1st quarter, he had 7 carries and 13 yards. So the 2nd and 3rd quarters have proved to be crucial to his night so far, where he's got 24, a buck 35, and 2 scores. And this was a drive where San Diego State just wore down the San Jose State defense. And it also put Donnell Pumphrey as the leader in career touchdowns at San Diego State. Number 62 earlier tonight tied him. And now number 63 puts him not only number 1 in career touchdowns overall, but also number 1 in career rushing touchdowns for the Aztecs as well.
Pretty impressive. He just keeps getting stronger as the game goes along. There's that pressure defense.
Tip to the line of scrimmage as Potter tried to get it away. And it's a touchdown for San Diego State. The play was never blown dead, and the Aztecs just 1 snap later add 6 more.
Great job finishing on defense. When it first happened, I thought it might be close.
All right.
I thought it might be close, but it looked like, I don't know. I just thought the reaction of everybody that it was going forward.
Oh, yeah. Certainly appears to be the case. Credit to Malik Smith there, who came in to scoop it up. Usually an irrelevant play, and as of now, it's a touchdown.
It's a good job finishing it, just in case on defense. It looked to me by the reactions of the players that had gone forward. Officials let it carry out. I think this will be overturned. Replay booth getting a lot of work tonight. Rocky Long there on the left. Bobby Houck over on the right, special teams coordinator, coaching linebackers, former coach at UNLV and University of Montana.
After review, the pass was forward and incomplete. It's going to be 2nd down and 10 from the 28-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 3 minutes and 22 seconds. 3 minutes, 22 seconds.
Yep, I think that's a good ruling.
Much to the dismay of Malik Smith.
Good job finishing, Malik.
The easiest touchdown of his life has been taken off the board.
None are easy. All earned.
Second and 10 as the Aztecs bring 5. Throw back across the formation, caught by Shane Smith, and he immediately hits the turf with Trey Lomax wrapping him up.
Great fundamental defense. Good anticipation, trying to sprint away and throw the screen back. Tough to fool the old Silver Fox. Rocky Long seen a few of these. Going to sprint out to the right. Try to go to the tight end screen back. Good job staying home. Good discipline.
Shane Smith is a senior fullback guy who offensive coordinator Al Borges says has the opportunity next level. Make a good amount of money as a blocker. That's a long haul downfield. And Justin Holmes gets underneath the throw from Kenny Potter. 23 yards.
Excellent anticipation throw. Ends up throwing that thing in the hole before the break is made. Good anticipation. You see all the eyes on the quarterback, playing a lot of zone coverage. Not going to get beat deep. Good design, little flood route, throwing it to the corner.
And it ends up as the longest play of the night for San Jose State.
You mean surpassing Ginda's interception return?
Now that might have been the most impactful one. Potter going off the back foot. And a little bit too short along the sideline for Holmes. Potter's had a tough night. He's trying to come back and get all square from injury to scramble. Scored the game-winning touchdown against Nevada in the closing minute last week. Took a shot to the head and probably will come up with a lot more bumps and bruises when this one's over.
Yeah, that's the other side you need to manage, is make sure your quarterback gets out of this healthy. It's like Ziegler back in the game. I was wondering if he was a little bit nicked up because we hadn't seen him for a while.
Well, nowhere to go with it. And so Potter just has to go straight down. Dakota Turner, the former fullback and the junior from Hawaii, makes his mark in the backfield there.
Really, really impressive defense. The way they stay home, don't overcommit, taking care of the screen, don't let the quarterback get outside the pocket, not getting beat over the top. Good fundamental defense.
And more evidence of work to be done for the Spartans, who came into this game having allowed an FBS high 33 sacks, now make it 36, with North Texas, the closest team, in second place at 27. It's another incomplete pass with Potter scrambling for his existence.
Yeah, he needs to be careful. He wants to get out of this game healthy. Still many games to play. Just love, again, the Aztec program. Rocky Long doing a great job. Just subtly classy, quiet. I think he's been in the same posture the entire game. Experienced coaches well under control.
Carrizosa's 7th punt of the night is returned to the 29-yard line by Quest Truxton. Now the question is, how much more do we see of Donnell Pumphrey? After Oregon and Cal wrap things up, it's the Bears by 14 right now. It's SportsCenter at night with Max and the Coach. I'll have highlights and analysis from college football, the NHL, NBA preseason, NFL news, and everything else from the sports world. SportsCenter at night on ESPN after the Ducks and the Bears. Also streaming live in the ESPN app and Watch ESPN. Of highlights from this game as well, which will feature a heavy dose of Donnell Pumphrey, and also, as to be expected, highlights from Rashad Penny as well, who gets the first down carry with a flag back at the 28-yard line. Potential holding.
Offense. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
That is on Nico Siragusa, the previously praised left guard. A guy who offensive coordinator Jeff Horton says he has potential to play at the next level because he's got quick feet, but also, Hawk, because of the style of offense played here in San Diego.
Well, the scouts get to see him do plays that the pros do. They're going to pull, they're going to block down, they're going to double team, they're going to full block. It's not simply inside, outside zone. They're going to be able to see the full complement of athletic maneuvers by an offensive lineman.
Penny with a quick turn lowers the shoulder, moving forward back toward the original line of scrimmage, and at least in the press box here tonight, listed as scouts from two teams, New England and Baltimore, on hand in person to watch the players.
Curtis Anderson, wide receiver number 97, he's done a great job. They've asked him to block a bunch this game, and they've been running that toss play. Donnell scored on that outside zone, but he's been coming down inside and cracking on backers. Again, shows you something about the culture of the team when you get a guy that's willing to do it and does a great job at it.
Penny is through the hole, and he might go all the way with this one. Indeed, he does. He takes it 73 yards with a burst, a score, and San Diego State's up 41-3.
Really impressive. Running power. They've been doing it all night. Getting a good pull by Rosales coming around from the right-hand side. You got that many pullers. You got that many gaps. They get San Jose State in a gap area.
Let's go!
Penny houses it.
Still 15 minutes of the books, but the route is on. Ron Carringer and San Jose State can only wonder what there is left to try. Penny leaves Spartans in his wake.
I'm going to dress like this guy for Halloween. Now, I don't think my body looks like that, and I don't think I could do that many push-ups, but that is an impressive costume, And even more impressive that he can mount all those push-ups, 42.
You think he has a breaking point?
No, he's an Aztec warrior.
Well, his job is not going extinct anytime soon with the way the San Diego State offense has been running 5 seconds into the fourth quarter. Celebrating its 12th year sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Match, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. And to date, Allstate has contributed millions in scholarship funds. It's been just one field goal tonight for San Jose State. A lot of scrambling for the senior Kenny Potter, who's 10 for 24 through the air.
All right, you gotta run the ball and just get on the bus and go home, or get your backup quarterback in and get some pops.
Throw over the top, incomplete, nearly intercepted by Malik Smith. That would have been some redemption. He had a touchdown wiped out last quarter and had that one go right through his fingers.
Well, it was nearly intercepted, but there was not a nearly miss on the quarterback. Potter takes another jack. He can't take too many more hits. He's going to be in the ice tub. You've got to get ready for the game next week. You're going to do that, get you back up in the game. Let him take the hits, let him get some reps. Because Rocky's not going to back off.
On the ground, some more Ziegler. Seeing action for the first time in quite a while. And looking ahead, perhaps, as a hypothetical backup quarterback-wise, Josh Love is a redshirt freshman, but did see some significant time earlier this year when Potter was injured, playing a full game against Iowa State and extensively against Utah the week before that. Now 3rd and 7. Against four-man pressure, a wobbler to the outside is caught by Trey Hartley.
Good job throwing it on time. As we mentioned, Hartley, the leading receiver on this Spartan club, hasn't had a lot of catches tonight.
That's 14 yards.
Simple timing throw, trusting his feet, getting it out early. Stop route on the outside. If you can get it off, most of these comeback routes against the Aztecs you're going to have a little bit because they don't roll the corner up much.
Well, a quick throw. Hartley is there again. And he goes to the 35-yard line as the offense looks about as good as it has on consecutive plays tonight. 14 yards and then 22 more on the catch and run. Hartley has to come off the field for one play.
Kalen Montgomery tracking him down, getting the start tonight. Yeah, here's your starting quarterback.
Went down hard, landing on that left arm.
Yeah.
There's Josh Love.
Get warmed up, Josh. Buckle up your helmet. Start playing catch.
Looks like he may have been ready to go into the game some time ago. Right up the gut with Deontay Cooper.
Now, one thing will happen here. Rocky will not want to see this game just erode. Aztecs have played great, been dominant on defense. As we mentioned, it's been forever since the defense has scored a touchdown against this crew. Want to be able to finish this thing up strong. Just because you're ahead by a large margin, keep playing Aztec football. Good tackle.
Right at the ankles, and a two-handed grab for Parker Baldwin. Not a starter to begin the year, but his second straight start tonight.
They roll a lot of guys in on this defense. Speed. Really was impressed when I was down in pregame warm-ups. A lot of lean, fast, long, angular looking guys. You look at those bodies. I don't care if they're D linemen, linebackers. All these guys can run and agile and get off blocks.
And now a tuck and run for Potter right through the middle. And he goes down slipping and sliding to the 5. Looked like it was designed that way for him to go right through, and gets 22.
Interesting. I was talking to Bobby Houck before the game, and he said, I remember Al Borges running quarterback draw against 2 deep man under back at Portland State about 20 years ago, was telling the coaches about that, and sure enough, there it shows up. Now, they were not in 2 deep man under, but there's 20, 30 years of experience going back of guys that have faced each other for a long time.
Now where do they go? Close to the goal line. Drop off for Ziegler. And he's stopped to the 5. Kalen Montgomery, who's getting some extra playing time tonight with the rule violation suspensions of 2 cornerbacks, Derek Babish and Billy Vaughn.
Cameron Kelly's had a nice job too, number 7 for the Aztecs. Really done a good job running around. That is pretty darn impressive. Depends who you're playing, how long that 154 snaps goes, but it's about 3 games worth, close to it.
If they make it through this 4th quarter, it would be 3 full games. That's a speed test here, and it's not enough on 2nd down. Malik Smith pulls the string on Potter.
Boy, you want to play college quarterback, folks? The number 1 attribute is toughness. Forget about all that other stuff. Media, fans are going to be on you, and then you're going to get blasted and take a bunch of shots like this. Kenny Potter getting a lesson in life about dealing with adversity. Trying to tell his left arm to quit talking to him here.
He's breathing deep on 3rd down. Just trying to find the end zone. And it's not happening.
Woo, if you love good defense. Alex Barrett, leader on this defense. Not buying the zone read. Streak on the line, Aztec defensive pride. Cal Borges going to try to spread them out.
4th down for Potter. He takes off, he throws, incomplete. And the defense holds again. 11 straight quarters and counting of Mountain West play without yielding a touchdown. A turnover on downs. The Aztecs look nearly unstoppable. Closing in on 6-1. Bowl eligibility in sight. Oh, it's a sweet tune tonight. They were at the home of the San Diego Chargers and the San Diego State Aztecs. Mike Cousins along with Dan Hawkins. Holding call there. Goes against San Diego State as some more backups begin to filter in here for the Aztecs. Up big 42-3, including a quarterback where the redshirt freshman from South Lake, Texas, Ryan Agnew, is playing for just the 3rd time as a collegiate quarterback. And his handoff goes to another redshirt freshman, Jawan Washington out of Kennedale, Texas. From one Lone Star State man to another. Runs the clock inside of 9 minutes now here, with no sense having Chapman or Pumphrey or even Penny seeing significant action. Agnew this year is 1 for 1 passing, and that one pass came against FCS New Hampshire. And if he does throw the ball, well, it'll be a little bit surprising here in this game.
We're right in the middle of the season, Mike. I call it the strain. This is where you want to get off to a fast start, but then you're kind of into the strain here, and you've got 2 sides of it. San Jose reeling a little bit at this point. Haven't won 2 games thus far this year. You've got the Aztecs kind of catching fire. Obviously, the stumble against South Alabama, which we mentioned. But now you have certain teams that get out and they kind of start opening it up, and they get in that, using those track analogies. You got a good 800 runner. They kind of get into their gait and they start moving and straining after the start. And some falter and some have the training and fortitude to kind of keep moving to be able to get yourself in position to finish. And Rocky Long's been doing a nice job here for several years, just being able to get his program to get better as the season goes along, providing some consistency.
He started out in 2009 and 2010 as just the defensive coordinator under Brady Hoke before he went north. And now here comes Tanner Blaine and took over as head coach in year number 6. And they've gone to a bowl game in each of his first 5 years. A win tonight, which appears imminent, will make them 6 for 6 in terms of bowl eligibility. And you can't ask for a lot more than that, as this would be win number 49 for him, who is already the most successful head coach as far as wins go in the Mountain West. And we've got a whole litany of flags coming in. There are 3 flags and the hat of an official on the field, and it may take some time to get this one sorted out.
You got at least a block in the back. Block in the back on Cameron Kelly around the 50-yard line. Quite a summit going on, yep. Block in the back.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both by the return team. Illegal block in the back during the return, number 7, return team. After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 15, return team. Those both penalties will be enforced. First down, San Jose State. First down.
The last thing you hate to see is your team kind of come untethered a little bit and start losing some discipline.
Alabama having the nation's longest winning streak at 19 games and trying to keep it going against Texas A&M, which is off to an undefeated start of 14-15. But then down the stretch, finished off 6-10 combined the last couple years. Losses against Alabama. So we shall see as we see Josh Love, the redshirt freshman, replacing Kenny Potter at quarterback, who could not pilot a touchdown drive tonight, which is certain to please head coach and defensive coordinator Rocky Long for San Diego State, because they're on the verge now of holding for 3 straight games without allowing a touchdown by their opponent.
Pretty impressive. I don't care what league you're in. These guys do a great job in sacks, tackles for loss, turnovers, obviously red zone defense. Really got this team on the rise. Be interesting to see what happens with this group of 5 pairings as we come down the stretch.
And it's unfortunate, too, for San Diego State that they're not going to receive as much consideration perhaps as they should as a Power 5 or a Group of 5 team that has a chance to get back into the rankings, because they were ranked as high as 19th earlier this year in the last poll of September, the AP poll, but they fell out the next week after they lost to South Alabama. They hadn't been ranked since 1995, and that was their highest ranking since 97. But you look at Western Michigan and Boise State, which played last night and hung on against BYU and maintained its status as undefeated. And we can look forward to perhaps a Mountain West championship game between the Broncos and the Aztecs.
Well, they have a chance to play spoiler. That's their role. And if you're a Group of 5 team and you lose a game, particularly one you shouldn't, then obviously you're going to disqualify yourself. But their opportunity right now is to win another Mountain West Conference championship. assuming things go according to book, and have a chance to possibly play Boise State in a Mountain West Championship.
Rasheed Johnson, the USC transfer from Compton, California, makes the catch. Under 5 minutes.
Josh Love getting a chance in here to get a few plays under his belt, a few snaps. His body is a little fresher. His compatriot, Kenny Potter.
6'2", 199, and the ability to stand in the pocket, and a flag coming from the far back side of the play.
Cameron Kelly coming over the back. I hate it when these guys commit pass interference and then they jump up and signal like, yeah, that pass was incomplete. I defended
Pass
it.
interference, number 43.
That was 43.
Defense. Spot foul. Automatic. First down.
Austin Wyatt Thayer, the backup Will linebacker, is said to have committed the penalty, but it was not Wyatt Thayer. It was Cameron Kelly, number 7 in the black and red.
Thayer's going, oh, was that me?
No, he's had a pretty good night, as a matter of fact. Had some pretty clean hits on Potter earlier in this game, and some nice juice on that ball from Josh Love, despite the incompletion.
You see right here, Thayer was the innocent man in the neighborhood.
It's the second guy who gets in trouble, not the guy who throws the first hit.
Get out of the area. If there's a flag, run away. Thayer's been all over the field. Really had a great game. Playing hard, good motor.
2nd and 10, Love tucks and loses a yard.
Throw the ball on time. Don't like it, find your check down.
Another really impressive number as well throughout the course of this streak here for San Diego State, as they look to make it 14 straight wins against the Mountain West. They've outscored their opponents, and this is coming into this game, 427 to 145. That's a positive margin of 282 points. Screen off the back foot. Deontay Cooper is on the run for the Spartans. So add to that, you're talking about plus 282 and a margin that would give you 39 more to that if the score holds where it is right now.
Really subtle. I know you're into all that stuff. I'm into ball right now. Miles Cheatham just did a great job running that play down, and here you are up 42-3. I think it's just indicative of the kind of spirit Rocky's got with these guys. Hustling, getting over there, and just getting a shoestring tackle to prevent a big play. But you're right, that's pretty dominating, Mike. Very telling. Putting it all together, playing good special teams, good field position. A defense that does not give up big plays, that pressures the quarterback, that creates turnovers. Tough in the red area, and offense very productive on the ground and don't turn it over. Good formula for success.
On 2nd and 10, under a 4-man rush. And he hits the turf again, wrapped up from behind. It's an SEC Top 25 doubleheader on ESPN starting at 6 Eastern. Auburn has won 3 straight. They're at home for Arkansas. And then Ed Orgeron, number 25 LSU against 23rd ranked Ole Miss. Both games can be streaming live, can be seen streaming live on the ESPN app and Watch ESPN. It's the advantage of a Friday game. Although most of the country now it's Saturday.
Just going to say good morning, Mike.
Right, good morning to those on the East Coast, those approaching last call wherever you may be. Glad to have you with us. San Diego State looking to improve to 6-1, 3-0 in the Mountain West, and San Jose State headed in the opposite direction at 2-6 with a loss today. They'd fall to 1-3 in conference play. And that's not an easy spot to be here. It's 4th down and 7. It was a turnover on downs last time out on the field. That was with Potter. Now Love drops the football, and this drive just ends with a whimper.
Oy, 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 oy. Clutched it, dropped it. Tough way to end it. Little pressure, steps up. Ball comes out of the hand. Pretty indicative. Tough night for the Spartans. Aztecs on the roll.
ABC, Ohio State and Penn State, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Streaming live on the ESPN app. Watch ESPN. The big one, a whiteout at Beaver Stadium between the Buckeyes and the Nittany Lions. Clock is running, 1:35 left. Here on a great night for the Aztecs and Donnell Pumphrey, the nation's leading rusher, who added to his total 24 carries, 135 yards, and 2 touchdowns as he inches ever closer toward Ron Dayne, the leading rusher in FBS history. And the Aztecs now in his wake can just run out the clock. You look at what he'd need to do to become number 1 all-time, average 127 yards for the rest of the year for 8 games, including a Mountain West title and a bowl, 135 tonight. But he's not really in Heisman consideration just yet. The odds right now for him are 80-1. Before they lost earlier this year against South Alabama, the odds were 20-1. And, you know, part of the difficulty for a guy like Donnell Pumphrey is exposure on TV. This game on ESPN2, probably the biggest exposure they're going to get all year. And kickoff times, where you have a large majority of voters, about 800 of them, who are not exactly seeing all of his action.
Well, the Heisman really has become, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, it's just what it is. You have to be one of the better players on one of the better teams. You have to have some magical moments in the spotlight. You're right, there's no question there's many people that are asleep in the East Coast right now. They're not seeing this game. They're not going to see it on highlights. They're not going to see it in the newspaper.
But the people who are voting, the fans combined have 1 vote. The people who are voting are the ones who should be paying closer attention.
They're not. They're checking for leaks in their eyelids right now.
It's 42-3. San Diego State a winner. Rocky Long, Ron Carragher. Programs, seasons headed in different directions. The Spartans now 2-6. And we'll come back and wrap things up right after this. San Diego State impressive in so many facets tonight, but especially defensively. 3 straight Mountain West games where its defense has held the opposition out of the end zone, and now surpassing Clemson for the longest conference winning streak in America. 14 straight for Rocky Long, and the Aztecs, they are now bowl eligible for each of his 6 years as head coach. 6-1. And the Heisman candidacy for Donnell Pumphrey continues as well. 135 yards, 2 touchdowns as the nation's leading rusher maintains his spot among the charts and still tries to climb toward it number 1 all-time in college football. For Dan Hawkins, our entire crew, Mike Cousins saying good night from San Diego.